This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark Nuce.
And good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning here on Columbus Concerns. With us is Reilly Wright. She is the communications director for an organization that we have featured here on the program before. It's the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association, OEFFA, and they are holding their 45th annual conference coming up February 15th through the 17th in Newark. And Reilly, thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always interesting to talk to anybody from your organization because the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association does so many things. For those out there who really don't know anything about the organization, maybe hearing about it for the first time here today, talk about what it is that you do.
Yeah, we truly do cover a lot of bases. So from the outset, we kind of look like we are more farmer facing. So we work with a lot of farmers, both beginning and like sixth generation farmers on education. We offer programming and networking opportunities. But also we talk with consumers. We're a membership organization that we offer visits to farmers markets around Columbus, around the state. We work with policymakers both around Ohio and at the federal level to advocate for policies that support a more sustainable food and farm system. And then another big facet of what we do is we actually certify farms and handlers as organic. So we work with the USDA to have specific farms and handlers and operations that we certify as USDA organic.
You were organic before organic was cool.
So they actually basically started the organic program in 2000 and we started in 1981. So I would like to say yes.
Yeah, definitely. Talk about a little bit about what some of the issues are that OEFFA is interested in when it comes to sustainable farming.
So there's a lot. So our policy team, we have a really, really amazing dedicated policy team that has their own focal points on making like that sort of change. So at the state level, a big thing that we're working on right now is soil health. We're visiting representatives' offices like basically every week, every month to talk with them about advocating for an Ohio Soil Health Week and pushing forward this program that would encourage farmers to consider and take care of their soil more. Because sometimes it's hard to transition your existing farming operation to be more environmentally friendly and think about your soil more. So we're hoping to work with getting a policy in that would advocate for more help toward creating healthy soil, healthy water, healthy air. So that's a big one at the state level. A big one at the federal level right now that's been a huge focal point for us is the Farm Bill. So that was supposed to come out at the end of 2023. With the government extension, it was led on into 2024, potentially into 2025 now. But we have a whole platform. We talk with farmers and consumers across the state, and we came up with 5 points that we want to see in the new Farm Bill. That includes like supporting beginning and BIPOC farmers, supporting a more sustainable food system, all of that. So those are just 2 examples of some of the many things that we have our hands in.
Reilly Wright is here, the communications director for the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association. Their 45th annual conference called Cultivating Care is coming up February 15th through the 17th in Newark. Talk a little bit about how you interact with consumers.
Yeah, so we are So a big thing that we do in the second half of the year is a farm tour series. So this conference that we have coming up is open to all. It has a lot of programming and education for beginning farmers, backyard gardeners, homesteaders, all of that. And it's kind of a wonderful introduction into our farm tour series that starts in the summer. And we usually have about a dozen farm tours across the state of Ohio that are free, completely open to the public. If you just want to see if you're subscribed to like a CSA where you get local food from a local farmer, it's a great way to open up the farm, walk through, see how they grow their food. You can walk around a cattle farm, you can walk around a goat farm, all of that. We try to offer like a huge diverse lineup of all of these farms that are free for anyone to learn and physically see how farming works on a small scale or a mid scale level. So that's a huge thing that we do. We're also opening up more with farmers markets. So we work with a lot of the farmers markets across the state. We have close relationships with them. And like last year during our farm tour series, we walked through all of the Bexley and Upper Arlington farmers markets. And one of our staff members is close to some of the vendors there. So she was like introducing attendees and these consumers to the farmers that are actually supplying the food and talking about their procedure and like how they get here, what's hard for them, what's new for them, what they would encourage people to do when shopping through the farmers market themselves.
It's interesting. You take a look at it like a city like Columbus, where there are a lot of really, really cool farmers markets you can go to. Yet there are also neighborhoods in Columbus that are sort of food deserts. They don't really have access to fresh fruits and vegetables and the things that farmers produce. And yet you have all these producers around Ohio who would love to sell to them and others. How do you connect the two? That's interesting.
Yeah, it's something that we're trying to bridge that gap, and it's also really hard. A huge thing that we focus on is beginning farmers. Like, it's really hard not only to find land just to start out, it's hard to find land to grow. It's hard to learn what you need to learn. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And so we're trying to do that. And then we're also trying to connect those farmers to have a sustainable business. Yeah, it's something it's a challenge.
Yeah. Before we talk about your conference coming up, I wanted to also ask you one more thing about this certification of farms and farmers being organic. Talk a little bit about exactly what organic means and how you go about that process.
Yeah, so our organization is broken into two. We have half of us are part of the education side, and we're a nonprofit. We host the farm tours, conference, education, all of that. And our other half is our organic certification group. So they are staff completely dedicated to handling. We have about over 1,000, around 1,100 clients that are across 12 states. So we don't only do Ohio, we do a bunch of states across the Midwest. And they basically, an operation or a handler, an operation, I mean like a farm or something like that, or a producer, they apply to be organic. We receive that application. They can certify through OFA. They can certify through other organizations across the US. They apply to be organic. We review that application. We send an inspector out. They go through a transition period. It's like a really long process, and it's a hard process. But basically, there's some pretty harsh and strict standards on how to be organic, and we verify that. We have to certify them again every year. So it's just standards set by the USDA, the NOP, and we go through that and we make sure that they're organic.
And like you said, there's the yearly follow-up too.
Yep, every year. And it's hard because I think sometimes, like, say that you bought a farm that is not organic, you have to go through almost like a 3-year transition period to like transition what you're using to treat the soil or treat weeds or treat your animals. You have to go through like a 3-year transition period until you actually become organic. So it's a long process. That's why sometimes when you're buying organic, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah, now we know why it costs more. Yeah, it's a bigger process. If someone has questions, they're hearing this and they like what they hear and they want to know more about the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association, what's your website? Where do they get more info?
Yeah, our website is oeffa.org. We have everything sorted out there. You can see each of the programs that we run, because we also do like a Fair Farms program and an outreach program. And everything is there on that website. And then that links out to our social media where you can see some of the, photos and everything that we're doing.
OEFFA is the topic today. Their 45th annual conference is coming up February 15th through the 17th in Newark, and our guest is the organization's communications director, Reilly Wright. Let's talk about the conference now, coming up in Newark. The February 15th through the 17th. Talk about how the conference is broken up and what will be happening.
So it's about 3 days of pure busyness is how we like to view it. Things start off on Thursday. We actually have a little pre-conference like classes. So these are called our food and farm school classes. They're pretty much separate from conference. You can buy them in addition to your conference registration. You can do them solo. They're full day classes. We have about 5 of them that are just like an in-depth look into a specific part of sustainable agriculture. So like one is how to raise better chicken with heritage breeds. So like for instance, if you want to raise chickens and you don't necessarily want to get the hybrid type of chicken, we have this expert coming in from Massachusetts that can, for I think it's going to be like 7 hours, so he's going to go over all of the characteristics and the things that you should be doing and techniques with raising this type of heritage chicken. We have one kind of aimed more for farmers where if they want to get into wholesale, they want to start selling their stuff in larger quantities, we're actually going to have a wholesale buyer that's going to come in and talk about what they look for, what's necessary in food safety. Again, kind of bridging that gap. And then there's another one actually that is specifically our staff is going to be there to help people work on their organic application. So if they want to be organic and they want to fill out that application, we're actually going to sit down with them and show them how it's done and help them to make sure it's accepted. Mm-hmm. So that's the first day on Thursday. And then we kick things off for the general conference on Thursday evening, where we're going to have a panel of 4 Ohio farmers that are going to talk about and actually answer the question, what is their favorite mistake? Which is something that we've never done before, and we're really excited to see how this goes. But basically, we usually have one keynote and speak for an hour, but this time it's going to be a panel, and they're just going to be telling stories about what they learned through their farming journey. And so after those 4 panelists talk about those stories, we're going to open up the floor for everyone to talk about that story. And then Friday and Saturday are our bulk days of we have over 60 workshops. So they're broken into sessions. We'll have 5 sessions. So we have 60 workshops all across those, and they're on a variety of topics from mushrooms to record keeping to how to design a backyard garden. It covers a variety of topics. We have locally sourced breakfasts and lunches that some of our coordinators specifically source from local farmers and local food producers. And we have a huge exhibit hall with a whole bunch of shopping, a whole bunch of vendors and programs and organizations that are going to be talking about their work. And then we'll have a variety of other smaller events. So we'll have a film screening. Our policy team is going to be putting on a film screening. We'll have raffles, book sales. We have happy hours. So it's kind of a packed 3 days that get into so many topics on sustainable agriculture.
And is it specifically geared just for farmers, or is it also can a backyard farmer come to the conference?
Absolutely. Yeah. So like I said, some of the topics I was talking about was more farming oriented. We have a lot of stuff that's aimed for homesteaders and backyard gardeners as well, or just people that are interested in food and farming. Like a lot of folks that reach out to us want to farm, or they come from a farming family, but they're like, I don't have the capacity to do that. I just love learning about food and farming policy, or just how to better support local food. And that's what a lot of these topics cover as well.
Well, yeah, agriculture it's still a huge industry in Ohio, but not only people usually think of farmers, but there's a whole industry around them too.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about it. So if somebody is interested in the conference and maybe they'd like to register and come out, how do they find out more information about it, or how do they do that?
Yeah, so would encourage you to visit our website. That's conference.oeffa.org. That has everything conference on there, from the full schedule to the registration link to all of our speakers' bios and the workshops and everything like that.
And are there different levels as far as, what you have to pay to get into the conference?
Yeah, so if you want to support our organization, you can become a member. It's $60 a year or $5 a month. That gets you a pretty good discounted registration to the event. You can also choose, if you're on the fence about it, we offer single day or both day registration. So if you only want to come on Friday, which is when most of the workshops are, because you want to come to the workshops, you can buy Friday only, you can buy Saturday only, all of that. So there's different levels if you want to just dip your foot in and see what's going on.
I guess one thing I didn't ask, tell me, where's the location in Newark?
Yeah, that's good question. We're at Cherry Valley Hotel, so it's like right off of 161 going between Granville and Newark.
Yeah, that's an easy location to get to, all from all over Central Ohio for sure. We're talking today with Reilly Wright, the communications director from the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association, and their 45th annual conference is coming up February 15th through the 17th in Newark. Most organizations love when I ask this question, so it gives them a chance to help those who help them. Who are some of your sponsors that help put on this event?
Yeah, actually, fantastic question. We have a lot of really amazing sponsors that have supported us over the years. Some of the big ones that we are eternally grateful for is OSU. OSU always supports us. Their College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. They not only sponsor and exhibit with us, but they have a lot of speakers that speak during the workshops. We have Shagbark Seed and Mill, which is a local grading mill down in Athens, Ohio. Edible Ohio Valley, which, coming from my journalistic background, I love our local magazines and local publications. Hudson Energy, Morning Eclipse, Ohio Can Program, Hoyle Cities Foundation, Evans Bakehouse. Those are our top sponsors. And then we kind of go down. We have about over 20 plus sponsors, from North Star Cafe to Snowfall Creamery, food and organizations across the board.
Riley, all you have to do is get in the car and drive up or down 71 or across I-70 or any other highway in Ohio, and you see it everywhere. There are tracts of land that used to be farmland are now covered with giant buildings or shopping centers or other growth. And of course, growth is good, but what's happening to the farmland in Ohio, and do we have a problem there?
It's a concern. I think I mentioned this before, that it's really hard. Sometimes we have the fifth to seventh generation farmers, and they're extremely important, but there's no promise that, the next generation is going to want to continue. So what's going to happen with that land? And then on the other side of the coin, we have people that really want to start and get into farming, but they simply cannot afford that land that's for sale because they can't beat that competition, or they can't find any because it's kind of locked into internal conversation, or it's just not out there for sale. So one thing that we do is we support beginning farmers. Another thing that our policy team has actually done in the past 2 years is we worked with the Ohio State House, and we got a new bill passed that's called the Family Regeneration Act. And that basically encourages farmers that are exiting the farming industry to sell their land to beginning farmers, and they get a tax break. It's the same if they sell land or equipment. And those beginning farmers can get a tax break if they took, or a tax credit if they take a class and get a certain licensing. So that's one way we're trying to piece those two pieces together. We also work with a lot of, at the conference, we're actually going to have a farmland owner and land seeker mixer. So we're going to encourage people that are seeking land to come in and talk with these people that are selling land. So again, just trying to start that conversation, be the glue that brings it all together. So it's an issue. It's something that we're thinking about, and it's something that a lot of our membership and people that reach out to us for support, it's a concern, and it's something that we're trying to piece by piece bring together.
Reilly Wright is here, Communications Director for the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association. Getting back to the conference for a moment, can you talk about some of your keynote speakers?
Yeah, so the Thursday panel that I mentioned before, we have 4 farmers from across Ohio, and something that we try to consider every time we pick our speakers each year, both for workshops and for keynotes, is does it cover all the bases? We don't only want, again, a longtime farmer or a beginning farmer talking the whole time. We want a variety of people that have different experiences that more people can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So for this panel, our 4 speakers, we have an urban farmer, we have a homesteader and an urban farmer. We have an Amish farmer that's going to be speaking on this panel as well, and an organic beef cattle farmer from Northeast Ohio. So they're all at different levels of farming experiences. They're all at different kind of areas of farming. So those are our 4 panelists. And then on Saturday, our other keynote is Jim Embry, and he likes to call himself, I believe, agrarian intellectual activist. So he's involved in a whole bunch of stuff. He actually just got the James Beard Leadership Award last year, but he's from Kentucky. He's an activist that works really hard on just social justice, and he's really involved in like sustainable living at local, national, and international levels. And he'll be speaking on pathways to a caring, sustainable future. So he's going to talk about how farming and agriculture is kind of at the epicenter for how we can transform things. So that's our Saturday address. As for all of our other speakers, we have, again, like we have folks from OSU, we have folks from farms across the state. We have Jim Embry is also going to be speaking in some of the workshops. It truly, like, it goes across the board. I think we have like 76 total speakers across those 2 days.
Reilly Wright is here, the communications director for OEFFA, the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association. Their conference coming up February 15th through the 17th in Newark. A phrase that you've mentioned a couple of times during the program is homesteaders. Now, you know, I think homesteaders, I think of like the 1800s when folks are going out and sod busting and doing that kind of thing. What do you mean when you say homesteaders?
I consider that more as this isn't their livelihood. You know, sometimes, again, we have different levels of people that are invested in farming. Sometimes it's their entire business, their entire livelihood. And those are, you know, I would say those are the farmers or the growers. And then we have backyard gardeners who, like I said, just have a backyard garden, are interested in growing their own food. And then I consider it kind of in the middle. Homesteaders are, they grow their own food and they're trying to grow most of their food on their own. Like not all of it, but a really good chunk of it. And they're heavily invested in it. They're not necessarily profiting from it and like trying to make a livelihood, but it is for their own, to sustain themselves.
Right. And when it comes to farming in Ohio, what are the percentages when it comes to regular farming and organic farming?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. I think Ohio is, I want to say 5th in the nation, according to the 2019 USDA survey, 5th in the nation for number of organic farms. So, like you said before, Ohio, farming is a huge industry in Ohio. There's still, we kind of say conventional farms. Those are the farms that are like, 1,000+ acres that have been doing corn and soy for so many years, and that's what they rotate year after year. And then on a smaller side, we have the small to mid-scale growers, as well as the larger growers. Like we have a lot of our membership that are grain growers have over 1,000 acres and they're farming organically and sustainably. It's just a smaller percentage. And what we've seen it growing. It like ebbs and flows, but especially in Ohio, the fact that we're 5th in the nation for the number of organic farms it's impressive. And it's, if anything, even if people aren't making the leap into becoming organic, they're interested in more sustainable practices that can sustain their soil, like cover crops or something like that, that would feed back into the soil so it's more nutrient dense rather than, adding more fertilizer or pesticide and such.
Is it more profitable to be an organic farmer?
It matters what you're growing, but for the most part, yes. So some of our larger grain growers, like have 1,000+ acres and grow organic soy or organic sunflowers in some instances, they're finding that market is a lot more profitable than conventional farming.
So we've been talking with Reilly Wright, the communications director for the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association. Their annual conference is coming up. It's called Cultivating Care. Tell me a little bit about why you chose that title for the conference.
Yeah, so we do a sort of short survey at the end of the conference the year before. And we talk with staff, we talk with attendees from that conference, and it's just the general, like, what did you enjoy? What could be improved? As well as what's a good title that you think of for next year? And our staff kind of picks our favorites. And the top choice this year by far was Cultivating Care. We thought that this conference, we time it intentionally. Like, it happens in February for a reason. It's right before farmers like to pick out their seeds. What are they going to grow for the year? And this conference is kind of like the first step into the first year of growing, going forward. And we find that everyone that comes to this conference after 45 years of it, they like to say that this is their way of grounding themselves with the people in their community and the people that care about the land and the food and the soil. So like every conference conversation and workshop narrows down to caring for our land and our environment. And so, yeah, we picked that title. It just was perfect. It was short and sweet and totally reflective of what we hear people value about this event.
And again, it's the 45th annual conference coming up February 15th through the 17th in Newark at Cherry Valley Hotel. Again, give us your website address if anybody's interested.
Yeah, so our main website is oeffa.org. The conference website is linked there right in the center, but if you'd like to visit that is conference.oeffa.org. And all of the information about the event itself, our programming, as well as how to become a member to support our work is right there.
Our guest on the program today has been Reilly Wright. And Reilly, thanks so much for stopping by and telling us more about OEFFA and all that you do. And good luck with the conference.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.
I'm Tiffany Haddish.
And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group.
When you or someone you love is facing a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible and improve future patient outcomes.
That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lustgarten Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them.
Learning all you can about pancreatic cancer, including treatment options and what clinical trials are available, can give you or a loved one even more than hope. It can help make long-term survival possible.
For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Food. Our survival relies on it. Yet every day in central Ohio, nearly 1 million pounds of it enters the landfill. That's a lot of food, natural resources, and money being wasted. The meals on our plates require a lot of energy, water, and land to grow, harvest, and prepare. And we rely on a healthy planet to provide that. When we choose to throw food away, we're choosing to discard all the resources that were invested along the way. Not to mention the money that's being tossed out. But together, we can make choices that make a difference in our community and protect our environment. In fact, there are a lot of small changes that we can each make to reduce our waste, like saving our leftovers, properly storing our food, and composting. Learn more about what you can do to reduce your food waste at home, at work, at school, and in your community at SaveMoreThanFood.org, a program of SWACO.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
By your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.